Hey everyone, one of the questions that I get from time to time from people is how I create the custom I/O panels that I have in my trailer and some of my equipment rack, like how I actually build these panels with custom connectors in them. So I'm going to cover that today. Hey everyone, my name is Doug. I run a company in Orem, Utah called Doug Johnson Productions. We do live video event production, so conferences, sporting events, concerts, those kinds of things. Part of that, I've built this custom trailer, and uh, part of that I've had to do all these custom connector panels throughout. So you'll see some of them. There's one, kind of hard to point to it, but there's one there, and another one there. There's 8 in the inside of the trailer, and then I've got some in the equipment rack in the back. So, but it all kind of centers around these style of connectors that are from a company called Neutrik, and most of you who have been in the AV industry for a while are familiar with Neutrik. They have this series they call the D series. These connectors look like this. So I'll show you guys. So there's kind of what the face of them looks like, and then I just get the ones that have the solder connections on the back, and they have these in all sorts of different flavors. So this is a combo, so it's both XLR and TRS or quarter inch. This one is just an XLR input. Here's an old school Firewire. They basically have these things in most of the different common types of connectors that we use in audiovisual. And they're really nice because in order to install them, you basically just punch a hole in a panel and then insert the connector and then screw it down, a couple of screws. So very easy to use. You can build whatever panels you want. And it's kind of funny, but Neutrik doesn't actually build, as far as I can tell, a panel that you can buy from them in order to complete this. So I use these right here. This is from Middle Atlantic. It's called the UNI1 or Uni1. Show you guys a close up here. So you can see that it's been already been pre-cut, laser cut, with the appropriate holes that are necessary to mount connectors in there. And this outer, the larger hole is actually the right size for these Neutrik D connectors. And so you punch that out, and then you punch out these corner holes for the screws, and then you're essentially done. There is just enough room up top above in order to do a label. So you can label the connectors so people can see what they are. And this solution actually works pretty well. It doesn't require any sort of strange tools or anything like that. And it's because of the wide variety of different connectors that are available. You can basically build it into any sort of panel that you need. I'm going to show you guys just a little video clip here. Some of the panels here in my trailer. So this one is the technical director station. I'll pause this for a second. So you can see USB input that's coming from the computer there. It's an HDMI input for the second monitor for that computer. Then a network connection. I'm not using that at the moment, but then I've got 12-volt power. That's you can't tell there; it's kind of hidden, but it's a 4-pin XLR. And then I've got a 4-pin XLR for power for the Surface Pro that I'm using. Fortunately, Surface Pros use 12 volts, so I can actually power those off the 12-volt system in the trailer. And then I've got a HDMI input for one of the LCD monitors on the front. And then I come a little further. And then there's some USB connectors there. One is for my X-Keys panel, and then another one is just for input I can use for pretty much anything. Then a couple of video connections, and then come over a little further, and that's where we've got the connections for the intercom. The director position doesn't have quite as many for computers, but it's got some custom ones here for audio. These are basically just dry lines going back to the audio booth. I've recently added those, so I haven't had a chance to print up a proper label. But you can see the 2 XLR TRS combos, and then the 2 XLR outputs. And those just go to the patch bay in the audio booth. And then some HDMI, and then a light switch to turn the overhead lights on and off. 12-volt power, another network connection, and then USB power. This is from the CG graphics booth. So basically the same connections you've seen before, except there's one mini display port connection in there for connecting a computer up to the monitor that's at that station. And then lastly here at this desk that I'm sitting at right now, so we've got, this is for instant replay, and I haven't finished putting everything in there. You can see that the task light switch hasn't been done, but there's an audio input for the microphone that I'm currently using, a network connection, and then some other AV, some like there's 12-volt power, and then inputs for computer when I'm sitting here at the desk, as well as just some general purpose BNC connections, a USB out for the computer at the station, and then the last connections there are for the monitor, and then I have a USB input for the X-Keys controller that I'm using while I'm sitting here at the desk. So it's pretty cool. You can make these custom panels all on your own. So it's actually really easy to do. So with the panel, I just use a nail set, but you can use anything else that you can use to punch. So you knock the hole out, insert the connector, and then screw it down. I'm going to show you guys some of the other types of connectors here. So, all right, so this is my bin of some of the connectors that I use in the trailer here. So I've got some just XLRs, and this is what they call EtherCon. This is the Ethernet connection. It'll accept the standard Ethernet plug as well as the special EtherCon style. Also got USB 3, 4-pin XLRs for power. These aren't necessarily made for those holes, but they fit with slight modification. Just a little switch there, and of course we have BNC for video. They have these available in both black and nickel. You can get either one. Nickel ones are usually a little cheaper if you want to save a few bucks. There we go. There's a TRS, standalone TRS, and then I did show you guys the combo. The combos are some of my favorite because you can get two connections in one. And the TRS and the XLR can actually be wired up separately. So you can use it as both a mic and line input in one connector if you want to. So pretty cool there. In addition, you can get panels. This one's from a company called Mystery Electronics. It's a wall panel, and obviously you get 4 connectors in there. So if you don't want to do a rack mount panel, you can get these others. So you've got some options there. Now, if you need something that's even more custom than that, you can actually punch your own. Show you guys some tools I have for doing that. I don't do this so often anymore, but so I have these knockout punches that can be used to create panels as well. So this first one, this is from Greenlee. The model number the actual number is 00042. And this is a 15/16 inch, which is the right size for the Neutrik Ds. And if you can't find 15/16 inch, the spec is actually 24 millimeters. So if you find a knockout punch at 24 millimeters, that will work. And basically the way this works, you drill a starter hole, this size right here, through the panel. Insert this on one side, put the punch on the other, screw that down, and then take a wrench and then crank down on this side, and it actually cuts through even pretty thick panels pretty easily. You still have to drill the little holes for the mounting screws, but the hole for the Neutrik D connector is absolutely perfect. I've used that quite a lot. If you want to go something that's a little different, there are other punches available for other size connectors. So here we have, this is just a BNC. I'll show you guys from overhead. So it's a BNC, and because BNCs you have to twist them when you put them on. The holes for BNCs are not round; they actually have a flat side on them. So you can see there's a flat side on that. And so in order to do panels for those, you have to have a punch that you can't use a drill. You have to use a punch that's actually designed to handle that. And this punch right here, it actually is a D-shaped. So yeah, look at that. Can't really see it super well on camera, but there's the flat side right over here, and then that creates a hole that's perfect for doing these BNCs. And you can also get F connectors that use that same D style as well. For anything that's round, that's half-inch. These are half-inch, by the way. Got a punch that will do those as well. So punches work much better than drills, especially when you're doing with a hole that's not completely round. Then you just get a cleaner cut, cleaner edge. You don't have the mess associated with it. You don't have sharp edges, so it's just a better way to go. Punches do tend to be a little bit expensive. I think I paid over $100 for this guy, although I've seen something very similar to this from the same company for like $38, so much more affordable. So, but basically, you can create your own panels for your own I/O. You don't necessarily even have to have specialized tooling to do it. So using the Neutrik D style connector, there's a whole world of different connectors that are out there, and you can build the panel to meet whatever your needs happen to be. One other thing I should mention, for screws, I don't use Phillips. I actually use these Torx. So this is a number 6 Torx. Number 6 screw with Torx head. And if you guys have never used Torx or Robertson instead of Phillips, they are so much easier to deal with. You don't have to press down into them when you're inserting or removing. Phillips are designed to eject the screwdriver as you're tightening, and as such they can be very frustrating to use. The Torx and the Robertson square don't do that, so it's just way easier to do this. For most of the world that doesn't use Imperial system, the screw size for the Neutrik Ds is an M3. So I like the number 6 here in the U.S., or we can use M3 for those. So anyway, so that's kind of the gist of it. They're really easy to make, and it looks fantastic when you're all done. For the labels, I just use a template I put together in Microsoft Word and then print it on a color laser printer, and it looks fine. So if you guys have any questions about any of this, please let me know. As far as where to buy these products, I'm not going to link to Amazon for hardly any of this. I normally link to Amazon for the affiliate links. However, Amazon charges way too much for these types of connectors, and so in the U.S. I recommend MarkerTech. So there's a link to MarkerTech down there in the description. I wish they were a little closer to me, so I didn't have to wait a week for the packages to arrive. But they've got great pricing, and I have a huge selection of different connectors that are available. So anyway, like I say, if you guys have questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. I'll try and answer them. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do video production related topics about once a week, and I do accept suggestions. So if you guys have something you want me to talk about, please let me know. So anyway, thanks guys for watching, and have a fantastic day.